What if Max Verstappen did have something to do with Red Bull's protest? Despite what Christian Horner and Toto Wolff are saying, the incident behind the safety car in Canada may seem small, but the fallout is anything but. Nico Rosberg has a different take from Wolff, and he's not keeping quiet. What really went down between Verstappen and Russell? And who's playing the bigger game? Let's break down the moment that had everyone watching the cool-down room in the steward's office. It all started under the safety car in the final laps of the Canadian Grand Prix. George Russell was leading. Max Verstappen was right behind him. Suddenly, Russell braked hard, and Verstappen shot past him by mistake. A classic caught-off-guard moment, but there was more at stake here than just track position. Max entered this race just one penalty point away from a race ban, and Russell, let's just say he knew it. He immediately got on the radio. "Max just overtook me. You need to check that out." Then Red Bull filed not one but two protests after the race. That Russell braked erratically, that he fell way behind the safety car, more than 30 car lengths, but the stewards weren't convinced. Both protests were thrown out, and that's when the war of words began. Toto Wolff called the protest petty and embarrassing, and made one thing clear: it wasn't Max. He's a racer. He wouldn't stoop to that. Sounds noble, right? But not everyone's buying that narrative. Enter Nico Rosberg. On Sky's F1 show, the 2016 world champion basically said, "Hold up. I know how this game works." And in his view, Verstappen absolutely might have been behind the protest. Not officially, but emotionally. Rosberg broke it down like this. Max creeps up beside Russell under safety car to apply pressure. Russell brakes hard, forcing Max to overshoot. Max, furious and knowing his penalty risk, might have pushed Red Bull to act. It wouldn't surprise me if that protest came from Max. He got angry and said, "I'm not having that." The idea? Max was being targeted by Russell and fought back using every tool he had, including the team itself. Rosberg's point isn't that Verstappen filed the protest, it's that he might have influenced it. And that turns the whole situation into a game of cat and mouse, mind games, strategy, psychological warfare. Because at the end of the day, these aren't just world-class drivers. They're also elite competitors looking for any edge, especially in a season where every point, every penalty, and every radio call could decide the title. Lewis Hamilton was flying. He had the pace, he had the momentum, and for once he was ahead of Leclerc on a Saturday. But just when it looked like things might finally go his way in Ferrari red, he hit something on track. At first it was brushed off, maybe just bad luck, maybe just a rough stint. But now we know the truth. And it wasn't tire strategy, or driver error, or even brake issues that killed his Canadian Grand Prix. It was something no one saw coming. Literally. Let's break down the race nobody's talking about for the reason they should be talking about it. Lewis Hamilton rolled into Montreal looking sharper. For the first time in 2025, he outqualified Charles Leclerc 2 weekends in a row. He lined up 5 pesos and his start was solid. He held position, hung tight with the leaders, and was managing tire degradation like a pro. Everything looked on track. Then came lap 8. Somewhere out on the circuit, a flash of brown darted across the track, and Hamilton's Ferrari caught it. Not debris, not a curb, a groundhog. And the impact did real damage. He didn't even realize it at the time. Post-race, he sounded gutted. Not just for the race result, but for the animal too. "I love animals. That's horrible," he told Sky F1. "It's never happened to me here before." What that groundhog did, unknowingly, was destroy a key section of Hamilton's floor. Ferrari confirmed it later. The impact ripped out crucial aerodynamic veins on the right side of the car. The result? A loss of 20 points of downforce. That's massive. You don't just lose a few tenths, you lose your entire grip and balance platform. And that was just the start of Lewis's misery. The lap charts don't tell the full story. From the outside, Hamilton just looked like he faded. Finished 6th. Out of the podium fight. But inside the cockpit, it was a war zone. First, the groundhog impact killed his aero, then a brake issue flared up mid-race. And on top of that, a strategy call kept him out too long on worn tires, dropping him into traffic after his stop. At one point, Hamilton admitted he was just hanging on for dear life. "I was trying to push, but nothing was working. I just wanted to see the finish line," he said. "Not my worst race in Montreal, but it's up there." Fred Vasseur confirmed the damage. "A small kiss with a marmot," he joked. But the performance loss wasn't small at all. "We measured about 20 points of downforce lost. It was a lot." And so, what started as a race full of promise ended in damage limitation and disappointment. Hamilton's sixth-place finish keeps him 25 points behind Leclerc in the standings, with another Grand Prix slipping away in silence. Ferrari, moving out of Italy? Wait, what? You heard that right. One of the most iconic, deeply rooted, and proudly Italian teams in Formula One history is reportedly thinking about setting up shop on British soil. And while it sounds like a wild rumor, it's coming straight from someone who's seen how things work behind the scenes. Nico Rosberg. But before you start picturing Scuderia Ferrari decals on a building in Silverstone, there's a lot more to this than just real estate. This could change the DNA of Ferrari's F1 team, or tear it apart. Let's break down the surprising strategy shift Ferrari might be brewing, and why this could mean big things for Lewis Hamilton's future with the prancing horse. For decades, Ferrari has lived and breathed Formula One from Maranello. It's more than a headquarters. It's a temple of red. But in 2025, the results aren't matching the reputation. 10 rounds in, Ferrari is nearly 200 points behind McLaren. The Drivers' Championship, Leclerc is 94 points off Oscar Piastri, and Hamilton is still hunting for his first GP podium. Cue the speculation. While team principal Fred Vasseur continues to bat away rumors about his job security, Nico Rosberg casually dropped a bombshell on Sky Sports' F1 show. Ferrari might be looking to open a base in the United Kingdom. Why? According to Rosberg, Ferrari just isn't operating at the same level of precision and efficiency as the top British teams. From technical decisions to communication flow, there's a lag, and Hamilton can feel it. When Lewis had something at Mercedes, he just went to Toto. "Done," Rosberg said. At Ferrari, even Lewis doesn't really know who has the final say. Rosberg believes Ferrari sees the writing on the wall. With nearly every other top team, Mercedes, Red Bull, McLaren, rooted in the UK motorsport corridor, Ferrari is fighting on foreign turf in every sense. So let's say Ferrari does open a UK satellite base, maybe in Oxfordshire, maybe near Silverstone. It's not unprecedented. Haas splits operations between Banbury and Maranello. Racing Bulls juggle Faenza in the UK too. But this is Ferrari we're talking about. The same team that proudly does everything in-house, with engineers and drivers often treated like national heroes. Rosberg doesn't deny the upside, being closer to suppliers, tech partners, and industry talent. But he also questions whether splitting Ferrari's operation could actually create a bigger mess. The issue is communication, he warns. You can't just build a building in the UK and expect it to click with the Italian HQ like magic. If they pull it off, it could streamline decision-making, help Hamilton feel more at home, and bring Ferrari back into sync with the modern F1 machine. If they don't, it could fracture the team's culture, create power silos, and deepen the confusion Lewis and others are already facing. One thing's for sure, something has to give. Whether it's the team structure, the management, or the location itself, Ferrari's 2025 campaign is screaming for change.